Puppets! They're a thing. Anime
Okay.
Reflux is also a thing. Hi, everybody. I'm
They
talking
are.
quietly. There we go.
Puppets do exist.
Puppets are a
Awkward.
thing. Sorry.
Ventriloquism is an entertaining act that is done by people who use puppets, and on occasion, they can do rather funny comedic bits. However, puppets are really, really easy to do wrong.
Yeah.
And
And
mhm.
yes, did this one do it wrong?
I don't know.
I'm not sure this one technically counts as ventriloquism as much as
it,
MPD.
it yeah, no. This isn't just a puppet. This is her friend that's on her hand. Um, yeah, huh.
That's concerning.
Okay, so let's just take this from the beginning for clarity's sake. Today's anime is Best Student Council, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it seems like I might be the only one who enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Actively enjoyed it would be taking it a bit far for me. It was fine.
It's kind of interesting. There were some jokes that was like, okay, that that's kind of funny. Such as like when people see the puppet and then their immediate reaction is just to slap it off of her hand.
I just
Yeah.
took that as everyone being assholes.
I'm just like, you know what? I like that. That's a sort of like abrupt jerk type humor that I can get. And then
Not like a
screaming his
spider or something. I don't. That just seems
it's just like
asshole-ish.
slap it out of your hand.
I mean, it made sense when the asshole character did it because she is, I'm pretty sure intentionally a complete asshole, but the other one made it into a joke by doing it as well when she
I
seems
found
more
it
the
funny.
sensible type.
I found it funny. Nobody's got patience for the puppet.
I feel like it
Except-
would have worked better if it was the sensible person that did it first and then the asshole did it too.
Hmm.
Well,
Because, like, the way they did it, it just seemed more like, hey, the bitchy character is being a bitch. Shocker. So. Okay, so the setup for the show is there is a girl, her mum died about a year ago, and she's out of savings, but luckily a mysterious stranger who is her pen pal, he provided for her an apartment to stay in and transferred her from her old school to another school.
A
Somehow.
prestigious school.
How he managed to do this without any position of guardianship or anything even remotely close to it is a mystery that I don't know whether the show will care to clarify at all. It does not seem to be the point.
No.
And she has a puppet. She has a puppet and it has its own personality, and we'll just leave it there. Okay.
Even the puppet seems to be a very key part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, okay. She has a puppet. She is very active with the puppet. They do routines. It is not entirely clear whether it is actually just a puppet and she's doing a bit and is really fucking dedicated to it, or if she is actively multiple personality disorder or schizophrenic or something. And this is actually kind of a tragic story. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. I'm not even kidding.
It is very hard to tell.
So they arrive at their destination by train, and it turns out the apartment that she was supposed to be staying in burned down
Along
with all of her stuff in it.
Yeah.
So she has nowhere to stay and nothing to do. She tries to go to like a housing agency, and she's like, "Hey, I can afford 2,000 yen a month," and like, "Fuck off." Which, yeah. So then she decides this. Well, the puppet decides, "Hey, the school might let you stay over for the night if you explain your circumstances to them." And she's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea, puppet." So she figures the school is the big building on top of a hill, so she goes to it in hopes of making it there at some point. While all this is going on, the student council are doing dumb shenanigans. They are apparently on the hunt for somebody, and have sent Blue-Haired Girl, who goes to find that somebody, and also they're looking into someone else, which is probably the main character. So on the main character's way up the gigantic hill through a forest, she sees, well, hears some rustling bushes because they don't actually rustle, they just have the sound effects for rustle around them. There's a little bit of corner cutting in this show, a little bit, but you know, they make it work, I guess. You know, they play up the occasional cost cutting measure for comedic effect. So I don't know how many points I could dock for that. She runs away because she thinks it's a no. The puppet thinks it's a bear, and she thinks, "Oh, thank God! I thought it was like a crazy pyromaniac or something that was hiding in the bushes and was gonna do bad." Oh wait, no, bear is also bad. Run away! Ah. Okay. So she's running away, not looking where she's going. And at the same time, Blue-Haired Girl is also running, not really looking where she's going. They crash into each other, and main character is knocked the fuck out as she hits a tree going down. Blue-Haired Girl sees her, is mad at her, realizes the person she was actually chasing got away, and leaves the main character unconscious in the woods.
Yeah?
But the puppet isn't unconscious.
The puppet has its own consciousness. Yeah.
So the puppet just tries getting her to wake up to no avail, and then the scene cuts to the next morning at the school gates,
where presumably she had woken up and managed to get to the school gates, and she is now there, unconscious, surrounded by around 20 girls who are all not doing anything, just looking at her. Which is weird, I'm not gonna lie. But other character shows up, and she's like, "Hey, hello," and main character wakes up and cries, and hugs her, and cries some more.
Had a bit of a rough night.
That reaction is kind of understandable. Yeah, she got, chased by either a bear or a pyromaniac. All of her possessions are gone. She is completely destitute in a strange city. All she has of any kind of resource is her connection to the school that she has been enrolled in but has yet to attend. And also, some girl knocked her the fuck out last night and didn't give a shit.
Left her in the woods to wander around until she made it to the front of the school where she collapsed.
Or get eaten by the bear. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was also... Yeah, so... they go to class, and blue-haired girl is being admonished by her superior to the point of being forced to sit in Caesar next to the chair instead of sitting in the chair, which... Okay, I assume that's character establishing moment of she is very what's the word? Obedient? No. Dedicated? Let's call it dedicated. That's probably not the best word I could use, but
Obsequious.
okay, that's a fancy word, but I'm not sure whether that's quite right either. Anyway, moving on. So she's pissed because random girl got in her way, goes to class, and hey, look, it's random girl. Angry pointing. Hi, nice to meet you. It's so good to meet you, new person transferring to this school. Nice girl act, which honestly makes me kind of hate her more. Like,
Yeah, I know, right? She's very unlikable.
Yep. Intentionally so, but I feel like they might have gone a little far. But yeah, so everyone's sitting in class and homeroom and stuff, and hey, it's a new semester, so we need to pick a new class representative, which was Bitchy Girl before, so she gets to run the proceedings for choosing the new one, which feels like a little, feels like that's how you get inertia going on and just choosing the same one over and over, but whatever. So her friends are immediately like, hey, you do it again. She's like, well, if you insist, unless there are any other candidates that want to volunteer themselves. No. Meanwhile, main character and other girl are talking in the back of the class about her unfortunate circumstances, and other girl raises protagonist's hand for her to volunteer her. So the whole class rep thing gets put to a vote because that's how it has to work. Somehow, protagonist wins with 6 more votes.
I think it's a combined number one. Upon seeing that somebody else is freaking running against her, she scratches her nails on the chalkboard. And number two, I don't think people like her that much.
Yeah, but at the same time, immediately after, literally what looks like the entire class is standing there being like, we don't actually want you as our class rep. We didn't vote for you.
They're
to the
talking about
protagonist,
the puppet.
to be clear.
They're talking about the puppet specifically. The puppet starts talking. It's like, well, I'm your class rep. They're like, no. Talking about the girl, not the puppet. They're treating them as 2 separate entities, which is weird.
I feel like that
puppet.
joke could have been clearer, but all right, fair enough. I missed that one. That is my bad. So we get explanation next for why other girl decided to do this very random thing, forcing new girl into the spotlight, which is because if she's a class representative, then she will have a greater chance of meeting with members of the Best Student Council, which is the actual name of the... By the way, it's mentioned that they have as much power as the staff of the school. That's the trope. And by doing that, she might get on said student council, who have their own special dorm that has room and board completely comped for them. Bit of a long shot plan, but I like her attitude, I guess.
Currently, you are homeless and you have no money. If you go with this plan, you have a chance to not be homeless and to not have to worry about feeding yourself.
So, meeting of the class reps with the student council. I'm not going to call them the best student council. Fuck off. The student council. And main character doesn't know where the meeting room is because, of course, she doesn't. So she's looking around for it. Meanwhile, the person that Bitchy Girl was chasing was a pyromaniac who has burned down 4 buildings, including the apartment building the protagonist was going to stay in. Now other girls are trying to capture this miscreant. The protagonist manages to get in all of their way. Every single one of them in sequence. First, she bumps into a girl wearing glasses, which knocks the glasses off, and then she naturally does the trope of the stepping on the glasses so they're broken. Then runs away, shouting that she'll repair them, has her eyes completely closed as she runs down a forest path, which, okay. She bumps into, I want to say it was Bitchy Girl next, which knocks her the fuck out, which, I don't know, I guess turnabout's fair play. But she's out for like hours, I just want to point out, because, you know, she's still unconscious by sunset. I just want to note that before I forget. So then the pyromaniac is a problem, and there is another girl, and she throws fucking playing cards that cut into a tree, which is weird.
I don't... That was such a weird point for me. If she throws the cards and then like snaps her fingers, like, dang it, drat!
I didn't cut that guy's throat. Fuck.
I'm like, what were you expecting? You threw playing cards at him. Are you trying to like stab him with those cards?
I guess
Like,
he forgot he wasn't Gambit or something.
Like, what are you trying to do? What was your plan there? Car drives around and cuts him off, and the girl gets out, and she's the vice president. She has a yo-yo.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, if one of you came out with a baseball bat, that would be more than enough to scare me.
So pyromaniac runs away from Yo-Yo. Runs away from Yo-Yo Ma. There we go, Yo-Yo Ma. That's a bad joke. And straight into protagonist, who's like, no, don't hurt me. And then the puppet grabs the branch that the pyromaniac is swinging at her with its mouth, and then proceeds to beat the guy up. The puppet, to be clear, the puppet with its puppet arms begins to beat the guy up.
Yes.
And somehow set him on fire.
That have no fingers in them. Those arms that just flail about. And then does like a super punch and lights him on fire. And well, I guess that's the problem solved. This is not just a coping mechanism for the loss of your mother. This is a supernatural entity that has attached itself to your hand. I see.
So then she passes out and gets woken up by the president of the student council, who she comments is just like her mum. And then everyone's like, wow, that was super awesome. Your puppet is cool. Join the student council or something. And then the vice president of the student council is like, hey, what's the deal with that puppet? Oh, it's my friend. And slaps it out of her hand. And Bitchy Girl is still unconscious.
And the glasses girl is left until night to search for her glasses because
no one came back. Yeah.
No one came back for her. They all just abandon each other very easily.
Constantly, yes. I'm going to put it this way. I had more fun talking about this show than actually watching it.
Isn't that usually the case?
No.
It usually is for slice of life stuff, to be honest, though. I mean, slice of life feels a lot better told quicker than it is watched.
Patient,
I'm
you really
biased,
like this
though.
one. I would love to hear your thoughts. You really like this one, it seemed.
I mean, I see things through rose-colored glasses, so take my opinion with a grain of salt, obviously. But I mean, there was nothing overtly offensive to me from what I saw. It just seemed like typical wacky hijinks, and the plot had... there's enough underlying to seem entertaining for the future, and the dynamic of the characters just seems interesting to me. I didn't fall in love with this show, but I'd be interested to see more of it.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable take. I wasn't like bored out of my mind with this show, but it certainly didn't grab me, I guess. It was okay. The puppet thing, I know it's just like a gag thing of, oh yes, look, the puppet can do all these special things. I mean, it's all over the opening. This is their mascot character, is this puppet. But yeah, I don't have any interest in watching more, but it was like a solid 6 out of 10.
I will be entirely fair and explain a little bit of what might have been a bias. I've spent a lot of this week watching video essays discussing writing and characterization and all of that fun stuff. The nitty-gritty of writing more complicated fare with more dynamic and interesting characters, deeper ones. So coming to this that is very simple and straightforward for the sake of comedy in regards to its characters probably put me in the wrong mindset. Like, Bitchy Girl really rubbed me the wrong way. Which is not the point.
I can actually relate to that 100% because I've been doing the same, and just hearing you guys talk about this because I couldn't get the fucking thing to load. Yeah, it's bad. This sounds bad. Really, just the lowest bar. 100% contrived everything.
Yeah, I will say a lot of the time it seemed like they were really reaching to make the comedy scenes happen, make the circumstances like when the girl is literally running with her eyes closed so she has to run into someone was a bit much. Come on.
She could have been talking to her puppet, just like distracted, or something more reasonable than just running with your eyes closed, which is why.
Because it's stupid and it's slapstick, you know?
Yeah.
I guess.
That's the kind of comedy that they're going for. They're not trying to form intellectual humor. They are.
That's true, but there's still a limit, man.
Unless
you're going full on fucking what's the name, the Three Stooges and stuff like that. Unless you're going full that, then you know.
Well, that's the bar. I was like, you know what, they're closer to that than they are to anything else.
Yeah.
Patient, there's a difference between a character being ditzy and a character running with scissors. Which is the equivalent of what she was doing.
I feel like if she were to consider running with scissors, she would decide not to do it because it might damage the puppet.
True. That's where all of her self-preservation instincts have gone. Protecting the puppet. Which, okay, fair. That's a good characterization right there. I'll buy that.
Yeah, if I put my entire being on the line of a coping mechanism that happened to take the form of a puppet, I would probably be pretty protective of it too. That is my interpretation of this show because of all of the character writing video essays that I fucking watched.
I think making the puppet into a mascot character is a mistake.
You think?
I think so. I think that it's. I know what they're going for, but the issue is with a slice of life thing. If the thing that separates you from other slice of life anime/manga is, well, the main character has a puppet, and that's it, you kind of got a problem there.
Yeah. I guess maybe they were hoping the nuance would come about later.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. The few slice of life shows that I've watched have basically lived and died on the strength of their characters.
Yes.
Well, that's the only appeal. So yeah, absolutely.
So the fact that the characters are not just pretty flat, they're completely flat. There is a character that is a bitch, there is a character that is a ditz, there is a character who's like supposed to be sweet and caring, and there's a character that's no nonsense, and yep, those are archetypes, alright, with no distinguishing characteristics beyond that. Cool.
Is that
except one of them has a
normal
puppet.
for episode 1 of slice of life shows, like, or do they actually work a bit harder?
It depends.
A lot of them work a lot harder. Like,
Yeah.
establishing the characters is the point of the first episode.
There's like a very specific style of slice of life where we've seen a lot of these shows where they try to sell you on, look, these girls are cute, right? And that's the selling point that they're actually going for. And what you find is with a lot of those shows, the writing doesn't work nearly as well as like other shows of its nature, other slice of life shows. So there's nothing really compelling about these characters for you to grab onto, other than, well, I guess some of the jokes were funny. You know, again, girl coming out with a yo-yo and the guy starts running the other way. Like, excuse me, you're more threatening in the car.
I don't know. They fucked up that car. I'm not sure I can still start, to be honest with you.
It sure
That thing
can
was
drift
beat to hell.
It can drift right in front of him, though.
The wrong anime. That's Initial D.
Need to give that car a panda paint job. Yeah, I feel like 6 out of 10. I'd agree with 0, maybe a little less. Like, I feel like as soon as we're done recording this episode, I'm gonna forget this anime existed.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I get as well. I don't think this was even a 5. It seems like a 3.
It's inoffensive.
I mean, a 3's the bottom half of the scale. That's a bad anime. This isn't bad anime.
It's inoffensive. It's mediocre, and there were some parts that made me kind of be like, hey, you know what? I kind of like that joke, so it gets a 6.
Yeah, I did laugh toward the end. I can't remember what the joke was that I laughed at, but I did laugh at one point.
I will stand by my 3, but only because I absolutely despise the kind of character who is the main character. So that docks points for me into a bad anime territory.
Right. Well, I rolled out of a 27 and got a 14.
14. That would be... Well, yes, that's...
The Game Master.
And the game, yeah. Okay, how many we got in N?
69.
Oh, boy. 69, okay.
Oh my god, the name of that last one. Holy hell. Alright.
I got 20.
20. Here we go.
Let me know. What do we got today?
Ooh. There it is. Got it. I should use the search function more often on this site. There we go. Natsume Yujincho.
All right.
I think the translation was Natsume's Book of Friends. Was that it, patient?
Yes.
Yeah, you got the thing up still. Natsume Takashi has the ability to see spirits, which he has long kept secret. However, once he inherits a strange book that belonged to his deceased grandmother, Reiko, he discovers the reason why spirits surround him. Containing the names of these spirits, a binding contract was formed between the spirits and the owner of the book. Now, Natsume is determined to free the spirits and dissolve the contracts. With the help of a spirit cat, his days are filled trying to return the names to these spirits.
Or you could just get a Zanpakuto and slap him in the face with the butt of the sword.
So basically, the plot line is you have a shrine keeper that's helping ghosts finish their unfinished business.
Seems
That
like
does
it.
seem like the gist of it, kind of.
It seems more like nature spirit, like the Shinto kami thing, like that kind of spirit, not people spirits. Slicer just reminded me that the Zanpakuto ritual is basically bonk, go to horny afterlife.
So, the from what I'm reading, this is designed to be kind of an episodic series with a lot of self-contained stories.
I like those.
There are comments.
This released in 2008. The manga came out in 2005, and the series actually got a movie that came out this year in January.
Yep. There are
So it's still getting
seasons
stuff.
of this.
Yes, the 6th season was in 2017. It got a movie in 2018, and then 2021 had a new movie. So it's still very much alive. In fact, the manga's still ongoing.
Most of the comments are about how all the comments disappeared.
Because they were ghosts.
I guess so. Yep, still, even in the first episode comments, it's all comments about the comment section being wiped. Fuck. Shut up, tell me what the show is like. Oh.
They're all put to rest.
Okay, it's apparently a very, chill anime. Soothing, relaxing.
The reviews on my anime list are pretty high. Though a few have low, so seems to be reasonably well liked. So yeah, should be okay.
I mean, I feel like most of us still have vetoes if we wanted to use them. I don't really feel it for this one, but
yeah.
No, it seems interesting enough. I'll probably be comparing it to Bleach for every second I watch it, but
episodic ghost story stuff, we've done that before. It usually ends up being fairly entertaining. So definitely not the worst one we could have gotten to follow this one up. So Natsume's Book of Friends.
The last one for N started with the word Nyanpire. So take that as you will.
Definitely not the worst one we could have gotten.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you guys.